Have you ever wondered why you've been learning English for years and yet you can't use it when it really matters? Somehow you prefer to stay silent rather than expose yourself. In this video, I'm going to show you why this happens, how you can change it so that next time you have to speak at work, nothing blocks you, and why it's all connected to something I call fake delayed gratification. Now, let's start from the beginning. If fluency is your objective, what happens is that to achieve that, there's something you gotta do. And that something is usually painful. And so we've got this connection between pain and pleasure. Delayed gratification means accepting a little bit of pain in order to achieve some pleasure later. Right now, your pleasure is 1. You want pleasure to be 10. And you know that if you accept a little bit of pain right now, you know that down the line, you're going to experience pleasure. What's the opposite of delayed gratification? Here we've got instant gratification. This means that the two things are reversed. You start by doing something that gives you pleasure in the moment, even though later causes some pain. But you already know that this is important. You already know that you need to get some pain, as in like you need to work out a little bit. Your tongue needs to move a little differently from the way it moves now. You already know that. You know that down the line this will cause you pleasure. And because you know it, it's so easy to turn something true into something fake. So now let me explain. We don't need this anymore, right? Because the point is that we understood what delayed gratification is. So now we gotta really understand how we twist it into something that unfortunately becomes negative for ourselves. Because what happens when we are called to speak English in an important situation? Something clicks and you can't speak anymore. This is when fake delayed gratification kicks in. And what does it tell you? It tells you, you can't. It tells you you can't. It tells you not good enough. It tells you you're not good enough. It tells you, what are you doing? Why are you wasting so much time on this? It's not going to work out. It's impossible. Stop it. Who do you think you are? Probably you might think, no, that's not true. I'm not thinking all of this. Trust me, if you're in a situation where you knew you could have spoken, but you haven't, it's because of this. It's because of this. Now what happens? Instead of turning pain into pleasure, you say no. You say no. I'm not going to speak. I'll let my colleagues speak for me. I'll let my boss handle this. It wasn't so important. You start justifying in your head. They're called justifications. Justifications, all right? They're dangerous because they're real, they're true. I mean, this is why they're called justification, because they take something and they give you something just. You believe them because they are just, they are true, right? So what happens? You're doing this because now I'm not good. But down the line, here is why it's delayed gratification. Down the line, I'll be ready for it. Not today, not today. Look at what you're saying to yourself. Today not. Today I'm not good. Today is not the day. Tomorrow. Tomorrow. Down the line, right? Because you know, that's the point. I told you before, this is something you already know. You know that down the line, pleasure awaits you. So of course, if pleasure awaits you, you're willing to suffer now saying no to today's opportunity because you know that that's gonna happen. That's fake. That's not real. This is fake. Now, things change, okay? Because we're about to get to the dark side of delayed gratification. If you really keep it uncontrolled, it really destroys your confidence, your future possibilities, and of course, because they are together, your fluency. You will never see it, no matter how many courses you're gonna take, no matter how many teachers you're gonna get, tutors, no, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, really. So hear me out, because this is really, really, really important. So far, we understood what is gratification and why it's so important. We understood that we are willing to accept, all right? Look, this is the most important part. We are willing to accept a little bit of pain for future success, all right? This is true even when we get to the dark side of it. It's still true. But what's the problem? The problem is those justifications, because they make something fake become true. Is it true that you can't speak? Is it true that you can't speak under pressure? The moment when you accept pain, you accept the pain of accepting that you can't. You accept the pain. You stop thinking about it, and you just accept that you're not good enough. You justify it. You made it just. See, that's the point. You made it just. It's just that you're not good enough. It's true that you're not good enough. This is bad, eh? So you say no. Deep inside, you know that you should have talked. You could have talked. You could have done that. There was no problem about it. Really, it was just in your head. You knew that. You had the words. They were all already connected in your mind. They didn't come through. Why? You said no. I know all this because I'm the one that I was doing it. I'm the one still doing it sometimes. So I'm not saying this to put you down, all right? I'm just telling you this so that you really understand what's going on. You say today not. This is because you want to justify your decision to say no, because there will always be tomorrow. Oh yeah? Then let's talk about tomorrow. So let's say that this is your no, all right? Then, of course, other situations for speaking happen. Maybe you discover a new app or a new system, just like Episode, for example. By the way, Episode has a great platform to practice your speaking skills. If you don't know about it, I've made many videos in the past about it. That's an opportunity to speak, and you're like, I may try it, but I'm not good enough. So the next opportunity comes. Here is the next opportunity. What happens? You say, I'm not good enough, I can't. Because you gotta accept the pain today for tomorrow. So this is a no. One more time. We wanna get out of pain to reach pleasure, right? We do that, it's our brain, this is how we work. But what happens the moment you say no? You feel relief. You feel relief. You are relieved. And that gives you pleasure. We've created a very shortcut here, for real, because we went from accepting a little bit of pain to creating pleasure. And so when you go away from pain to get pleasure, that turns into a habit. Because you don't need to go there anymore to receive pleasure. You already receive it when you say no. You see what I mean? Like, you don't need to go all the way anymore. Hey, we don't need that. We just say no. Who cares, right? That's the point, right? Who cares? Relief. What's relief? Relief is when you feel relaxed, right? Relief is when you feel stressed, and then all of a sudden something happens, you feel better, you feel relieved, and that's pleasure, right? Of course. And whatever happens every time you experience some pain and then you get pleasure, you do something that gives you pleasure, that becomes a habit. And habits are like little locks. Okay, in my imagination, this is a lock. I hope in yours too. The next time, the next opportunity that comes around, what are you gonna say? Are you gonna say yes? No, come on, let's not kid each other. You're gonna say no. Why? First of all, because it's a habit. Second of all, because you've got a whole set of ready-made justifications that you don't even need to justify anymore. They're already here. And so, what happens? The next opportunity comes around. Say no. Now, look at this. I made this as a spiral. Why? Because these also have a lot of bad effects. Let's talk about the side effects, because we're talking about the dark side, all right? I hope you're ready for this, because this is serious. This is pretty bad. When you say you can't, what is the pain you're accepting? Not possible. You say you can't, the pain you accept is not possible. When you say not good enough, what you accept is not confident. When you say today not, what do you say? Not yet. Or even worse, let me change this. Maybe next time. This is even more dangerous because this takes you, or better, brings you to your next time. Maybe next time. Maybe next time. Maybe next time. All right? Yeah, this is serious stuff. This is going down, all right? Why? Because every time you say that you can't, you say that it's not possible, you're bringing yourself down. You're bringing yourself down. Another loop, you say that you're not good enough, you say you're not confident, you say no, they bring you down because now you're not confident anymore. You don't feel confident. You become a not confident person. You become a not confident person. It becomes part of who you are. Now look, this is going to surprise you probably. Next opportunity, right? You were expecting this. Now, the opportunity was here. You missed that. Why have you missed it? Because you start not even seeing it anymore. The opportunity of speaking, the opportunity of getting a new client, the opportunity of expanding your career, expanding your business internationally, you don't even see it. Because you're not good anymore, you're not confident. Maybe next time, maybe next one, maybe next client. There's a client over there, hey, I'm interested, I'm very interested in what you're offering. Don't see it. Fluency is clearly the key for unlocking your next level in life, right? Because if you're here, if you want to become fluent, it's surely because you've got something in your mind. You want to do something. And delayed gratification, or better, I should say, fake delayed gratification is taking that dream away from you. What's on the other side? After so many times, you expected pleasure. No, sorry, it's true, okay? I'm not here to sugarcoat it. Fake delayed gratification takes you to more pain. Just that. So I really hope you're understanding here, because that's a solution, okay? I'm not telling you that you're screwed and you can't do anything, okay? I'm here to tell you there's a solution to all this. It's pretty easy. It's nothing crazy. It's not something magical, no voodoo rituals, and nothing that requires even anything particular to do. You just gotta break the cycle. Like this. Now that you know that this temporary relief doesn't get you to any pleasure, I say that, You just gotta break it. Now that you actually clearly see it, you don't connect it to pleasure anymore. As you can see, it's not here. And this is already big, because once you can clearly see that there's no pleasure on the other side, this habit starts to feel a little less powerful, just a little less. Not so much, all right? It's not something you do in a second, but a little less. What's the next step? The next step is simply forgetting all of this. How do you do that? How do you do that? The habit is still in place. You want to be in the moment. The next time you have the possibility of using your fluency to your advantage, you use it. Hopefully you're not here, right? This is a very simplified way. It's long. You will see other opportunities to use your English to your advantage. Next time around, you use it, you speak. You're gonna suffer the consequences of speaking under pressure. You're gonna feel it. It will be difficult, but you accept that. And then you continue. You don't stop here. You listen to what the other person says to you. You truly listen. I'm gonna talk about it in another video, because this is a topic on its own. And then you copy what the person says, the tone of voice, the rhythm of the voice, the words they use. Because lucky for us, habits can work in your favor. You see, you don't need to cancel the habit. You don't need to remove it. You just need to replace it with a new one. Because once you replace a habit with another habit, that's it. Who cares about the past? You've already won. So next time you see an opportunity in front of you, use it. Accept the pain. Accept the initial pain. Do this because you've seen it, all right? Lucky for us, this can be reversed. We can start down here and we can work our way up. You will start seeing more and more opportunities. And this can definitely be reversed if you accept a little bit of pain, if and only when you realize that on the other side of it, there's pleasure.